All right, good morning. Today's February 7th, 2026, and I want to tell the end of the story from yesterday, the spiritual bypassing with my friend, that bullshit on Facebook. So, after I finished recording our video, the last comment was me not appreciating the bypassing and holding a mirror up to his face and showing him that his posts in the last couple of weeks were completely the opposite of somebody trying to emanate love and compassion and inclusion. I shut it down and let it go. I went about my day. I had a nice little conversation with Wendy about it, and whatever. And sometime around 4 in the afternoon, I was going through my Facebook notifications and even before that, even before I got to work, I stopped recording our video, and he had responded and said, I don't even know how to respond to this other than I won't interject myself anymore. No response from me, because that's on you. I'm just asking you to see yourself. And then about 4 o'clock, I was checking on my notifications, and I happened to see that, the notification from his comment earlier in the morning was there. And I clicked on it, and I clicked on his name because I was kind of curious, if he had any emotions about this at all, what had he posted? And when I got to his profile, he unfriended me. And actually, I thought it was kind of funny. How passive-aggressive and childish was that? Because I don't want to see politics? Because what I posted had nothing to do with politics? It was a Billy Carson video. And Billy Carson calls politics politricks all the time. Because he knows that the bipartisan standard that the United States holds is division and illusion and holographic. It's a projection. So, it just showed me where he is. He's still very childish. His emotional maturity sucks. But this all went back to politics. So today's message is about mass hysteria. We're going to have a psychological conversation. Okay? So mass hysteria is a psychological phenomenon where groups of people, schools, workplaces, communities, and even online communities, they start experiencing similar symptoms. Fears, joys, beliefs, behaviors, without any identifiable physical or toxic cause. The infection spreads through suggestion, anxiety, rumors. It's a social contagion, and it's it spreads also through amplified stress rather than a virus or a poison. Social media accelerates and amplifies this massively. Recent mass hysteria events that I can think of right now are COVID. COVID is the big one. Everybody was scared because they couldn't leave their houses. So all they could do was watch mainstream media and scroll social media. So it was in their face all the time, the fear, 6 feet apart from each other, wear a mask. If you're coughing or have had a fever recently, you can't go into anywhere. Hospitals were not allowing families in to see patients. There were so many babies that were born alone. I mean, the mother was alone when she gave birth. That's traumatic for her. When all you have is a nursing staff and you can't have anybody in the room with you for fear that you're going to get this virus and everybody's going to die. It wasn't a fucking zombie plague. It was a jacked up flu, and the people who are normally affected by flus got it and died. I've had COVID 5 times. I don't even get fevers anymore from it. The Salem witch trials is another good example. One viral post can spark waves of shared panic. I wrote down here in my notes, politricks. It's what it was. Okay, so the forced binary, red versus blue. It's not organic, and it's amplified by algorithms that reward outrage and echo chambers that reinforce tribal loyalty and constant feeds, pushing emotional triggers. Look at what's happening. Last week it was immigration policies, and this week it's the Epstein files, and everybody is sitting on different sides of the fence on this. There's very little neutrality being posted. I do have a friend who is calling out hypocrisy on it. I'm not getting involved in that fight because I made a discovery about myself last night that if I'm not watching the news, which I'm not, and I have shut down all news media sources coming through my Facebook feeds, then I have no business talking on it. So when I see my friends post about it, I just keep scrolling. And this is the result of what happened 2 weeks ago, or at the beginning of my vacation, where I posted something about, with all the violence happening, I would not have put myself in the position to have gotten killed. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I mean, maybe the post came off as very right-wing. Very, very right-wing. And I'm going to say right-wing, left-wing, because this is where the extremes lay. Don't start shit, won't be shit. If you're not educated on what's going on out there because you don't want it to affect here, don't comment. Okay, so that's where I'm at. But what social media... Okay, so let's see. So echo chambers that reinforce tribal loyalty and constant feeds pushing emotional triggers. You can't have an emotional trigger if it's gone. Covert racism and overt narcissism on one side, and performative inclusion on the other. Performative inclusion. That's this woke agenda. You know, we've got a couple of voices sitting in Congress and the House of Representatives that they form like this 1% that they're being loud and outspoken about civil rights. And then out in the public, we've got things like Antifa, BLM, the LGBT community, these extremes. And it's just being fed by the idiots in the political arena. And that's being blown up in our faces. All of it. It's feeding our emotional triggers. So both of these things, the racism and the narcissism on one side and the performative inclusion on the other, they're both eroding merit-based voting. If we got rid of the donkey and the elephant, if we completely got rid of it, and we just voted for people based on their merit, their accomplishments, their what they have done for people, do their actions match their words, things might be a little bit different. Things might be a little bit different. This is a spiritual attack on the collective. Strategic operations to hijack consciousness during transition points. We're in a big transition point. We just entered a 1 year. 2026 reduces to 1. It's a 1 year. It's the beginning of a cycle. So all of the old energy, if there's any left, has to be tossed. Neptune just moved into Aries. Neptune and Saturn are going conjunct in Aries. And there's another one. Uranus is moving. It's changing signs this year too, and it's in the process of doing it right now. These people don't realize, of course, that this is happening because the universe is changing. But this is just how energy works. As above, so below. Strategic operations to hijack consciousness during transition points. So, division here is the prime weapon. It's not organic, it's engineered. Luke 12:53, mother will be against daughter, daughter against mother, father against son, son against father. Division. Social media feeds us micro triggers, shattering unity before it can even coalesce. So it builds and builds and builds and builds over time. It's global and it's instantaneous. It's not like it used to be where it would take months and months and months of word of mouth to get information across the country. Political tribalism with spiritual bypassing to mask the real agenda, which is to erode trust, free speech, and discernment. We're not being discerning. Fear and hysteria spread through social media, mainstream media. They're frequency jammers. So they block our ability to sense what is actually going on. That's why our discernment's blocked. That's why they attack it. The attack preys on our unintegrated shadows because we're not taught how to do that. Or we're actually not even taught because religion has taken away some truth. They've changed it to make you think that it's something else. We're not learning to... Okay, a good example from tribal days. A child's family was murdered right in front of them, and that is going to cause some kind of a revenge trigger as they get older. They're going to want to get revenge against the neighboring tribe that attacked their village and killed the parents. But the shamans are teaching this kid that it sucks what happens to you. But you can only fix yourself. Forgive them. Don't forget. But don't let it happen to your new tribe. Unintegrated shadows. Everybody should be in therapy. I believe that 100%. Right now, in this day and age, everybody should have a therapist. So the Republicans are idolizing a dividing figure, and the woke Democrats are echoing superiority while bypassing real empathy, and both are feeding the beast. Kabbalistic Jewish traditions call the beast the self-aware ego. The inflated, separated ego that demands worship through fear, control, and division. The I that claims it's above the illusion while feeding the low-vibe drama it claims to transcend. A couple of Bible verses I want you guys to look at are Luke 12:53, Matthew 10:35, and Micah 7:6. Truth pierces illusions, forcing the ego to react violently when its constructs are threatened. Ego hijacks blood ties, turning love into opposition to protect its fragile self. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, we fight not against flesh and blood, but principalities of darkness. The true adversary is spiritual. When the ego runs unchecked, it becomes a portal for these forces, manifesting as mass hysteria, relational ruptures, and polarized politics. The beast or ego is not the person, it's the mechanism that possesses the person, turning brothers into enemies. The division exposes the beast. When I got unfriended yesterday, there it was. Clear as day. Couldn't handle looking at yourself in the mirror. Victory comes through armoring ourselves. Truth, faith, and peace. And weapons like prayer, discernment, and love starve the ego of fuel. The spiritual is psychological. I pulled some cards from, let's see, in case you guys just want to check it out. Intuitive Whispers Oracle. Card number 18 is the top of mind, right? Emotions are energy in motion. So when we have things come up like sadness, sadness wants to move. It wants to move up through the body, through the spine, through the chakras, and emerges tears and wailing. When we're happy, it wants to move through those same channels and come out as dance and play. To avoid spiritual bypassing while we're watching all of this mass hysteria right in front of our faces. We have to feel those emotions and let them out. The subconscious is saying release old patterns. See how the circle's broken here. Release them. The doves have escaped the maze. Release old patterns. What is the pattern that's keeping you from expressing your sorrow physically? Why are you holding that in? Why is it coming out as reactivity? You know, this is psychological and spiritual warfare being played out right in front of our eyes. I think it's time to put social media down for a while, or at least get rid of the things that trigger you. Don't allow in any more micro triggers. Feel your emotions, but don't be consumed by them. I love you guys. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.